Good afternoon. I'll call to order the regular council meeting for Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. And we'll start with the swearing in of our new councilors.
No, you don't get to sit in the back for it. All right, you should have this memorized from last time. The test. So I'll just get you to repeat after me. I, Kevin Aiken, do solemnly affirm that
I, Kevin Aiken, solemnly affirm that
I am qualified to hold the office of councillor for the district of Lillooet to which I've been elected.
I'm qualified to. Sorry, I didn't memorize it. I'm qualified to hold the office of councillor for the district of Lillooet to which I have been elected.
I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office.
I have complied with the provisions of the Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office.
I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the community charter.
I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the community charter.
Why is that one hard to get out?
I'm crossing my fingers.
I will carry out my duties with integrity.
I'll carry out my duties with integrity.
I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties.
I will be accountable for the decisions I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties.
I will be respectful of others.
Of course, I will be respectful of others.
I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration.
I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration.
I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law.
I will perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Speech.
Give us a speech. Should really, right? Right. Say something. And then call the first round table.
Thank you much. And I got one for you.
No.
So, that's it now? Oh, official.
It is. That's yours.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Got your new base.
Always move us.
Yeah, they were really small in the first term.
Yeah, from another one.
So it's my great pleasure to extend a heartfelt congratulations to Councillor Aiken on your successful election in the recent by-election. Serving on council is both a privilege and a responsibility. It is a role that allows us to make a meaningful difference in the lives of our residents, to represent their voices, to work together towards the common good. We are excited to have your energy, your ideas, your professionalism, and the commitment over the next year and a half. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the journey. Okay, with that, is there any public input as a meeting is open to statements of no more than 5 members of the public of no more than 2 minutes in length? Dennis?
Hello, Johannes with the Lower Chamber. Just a really quick one. I believe this may be a late item on your agenda. Sorry about the mix up there. This is just I sent you a letter from the chamber just requesting support for an NDIT application that we submitted, which is about the marketing initiatives grants. So this year we'd like to run a Shop Local campaign. NDIT requires that all applications have to be supported by council, whether you guys are involved or not. So here's our ask for you to support this application. The idea is we run a Shop Local campaign this year that includes the sort of support local stickers, flyers, brochures, a website for our local vendors. Some of those things high priority by my board. And I sent an email about this as well, but if anyone has any questions, I don't know if I can stay for the whole meeting. It's my niece's birthday, but I'll take for that. All done.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Sam Quinlan. I'm speaking to you today as a concerned resident of Lillooet. regarding the second cell phone tower installation in the past 4 years. As you are likely aware, the district approved an application by TELUS to install a cell phone tower at 103 Main Street in the fall of 2021. As a quick refresher, the district received approximately 40 responses from residents, with half vigorously opposing, citing scientifically supported health concerns, and over half in favor. Yay, faster YouTube downloads. Despite the contentious balance of respondents, the district approved the proposal as presented. There were no public information sessions then, and still none today. This is the second cell phone tower proposal brought to you before you by Rogers in the agenda today. It would be reasonable to expect additional cell phone proposals from Bell, Shaw, and others in the near future. Note that I live just 1 kilometer from the proposed tower and in direct line of sight. I am not within the radius and therefore did not get notice and happened to miss the newspaper where the notice was published. I trust there are dozens of more residents who are in my position and wish to have an opportunity to be heard. This is why I'm humbly requesting the district consider not approving Rogers' proposal as presented and instead consider implementing a cell tower protocol. As adopted in 2014 by the city of Pickering in Ontario. This is just the preamble of that. You can find this protocol at pickering.ca. Since then, others have developed protocols or policies, including Clarington, Ontario, County of Brant, Ontario, the City of Regina, and more close to home, the Columbia Shuswap Regional District. This is not an exhaustive list by any means. These cell phone tower protocols are generally very straightforward. The intention is to strengthen local authority within the federal process of establishing new cell phone towers, which is very stringent. Essentially, these protocols require applicants to follow guidelines for public consultation within the city or the jurisdictional limits. These requirements include a minimum notification area greater than the federal requirements, a prescribed method of delivery for notices and signage, as well as newspaper ads and public information sessions. A similar protocol established here in Lillooet would have the effect of improving consultation with residents who may not buy the local newspaper and who may lie outside of the very restricted 150-meter radius required by federal regulations. In light of previous council meeting where the mayor stated they would consider improving the consultation process for land use development, I think it is very reasonable to request that one could improve one that can improve the democratic relations between the district and its residents. Concerned about the myriad effects of cell phone towers that cell phone towers have on the community's physical health, physical or visual aesthetics, and the risk of excessively industrializing this valley we all call home. That is all I have for you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. I know there is a late addition, so.
Yeah, we're gonna
and
add the letter from, or we're requesting to add the letter from the Chamber of Commerce under section 9.1 correspondence for action.
Okay.
And council has it in front of them in green, and there are some copies there available if anyone wants to.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, will somebody please move that the May 20th, 2025 regular council meeting agenda be adopted as amended? Councillor Plan, Councillor Aiken. All in favor? Carried. So public or statutory hearings, I'll move on to the consent, but before we move the consent agenda, does anyone wish to remove one or more of the correspondence items under number 8 of the agenda? Please raise your hand. I will start by moving 8.1.5. And we'll move it to 18.1. Anything else? Okay, then I'm also going to move 8.1.6.
17 or 17.
It is 18 this time.
18.
Yeah. So 18.1 and 18.2. Okay, will somebody please move the remainder of the consent agenda items? Counselor Weed, Counselor Plant, all in favor? Carried. We'll move into 9.1. Late item, Chamber of Commerce and VIT Marketing Initiative Support. Is there any questions or comments? Anyone speak to it? Good. I do have a resolution in front of me. Are you okay? No questions or comments? Okay, Council Plant?
No, I'll just say that this has been done in the past with the shop local campaigns, and it always seemed to be very popular with the public, with the newspaper ads and going around and getting stamps or whatever it was in the past. So it was very popular with the public.
Okay, with that, would you like to move that the District of Lillooet provide a letter of support to the Lillooet Chamber of Commerce for their grant application to NDIT for the Shop Local Cafe? Okay, second, Councilor Weed, all in favor? Carried. 10.1, 2025 by-election results.
Thank you. Through the mayor, I'm actually gonna do 10.1 to 10.4 kind of all together. It's all to do with Councillor Aiken being elected. So with a new election, we are releasing the official election results, which is 10.1, showing the determination of the election results, a ballot account reconciliation, and the official election results, all signed by the Chief Election Officer, Nate Moyer. Because of this, we do also need to update the district signing authorities for financial banking and with the MFA to add Councillor Aiken to as a signing authority. Acting mayor, the proposed schedule previously had former Councillor Rolf de Buren from October to December. So we've replaced that with Councillor Aiken. And finally, council may wish to consider adding Councillor Aiken as representative to various committees. So amongst yourselves, you can discuss and decide which members of council he would replace on various committees.
Okay.
Silly question, 10.2, it says for CAO and CFO or delegate. What does or delegate mean?
Deputy. If there was no chief administrative officer on duty, it would be the deputy chief administrative officer. If we had a deputy CFO, they would be able to do it.
Thank you.
Okay, so committees, I was just gonna go through the committees one by one. Area Library Association, I have Councillor Patty Plant. Are you good with that?
Yes.
Lillooet Community Fund Committee, Councillor Patty Plant.
Yeah, or I can give that one.
Okay, Councillor Aiken, are you interested in Lillooet Community Fund?
Sure.
It meets
Twice a year.
twice a year. Decides to give money away. It's a break.
I guess my only concern would be that I'm on a number of societies that would be applying for grants. So I may have to excuse myself in that case.
There is, one of the committee members is in the same boat and they would excuse themselves if they are in the conflict.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay. We'll put Councillor Kevin on the screen. There, Lillooet Representative Road Committee, Councillor Weed.
If you would like to do it, that would be fine. The meetings are always online and they are sporadic, depending on when Ministry of Transport and our MLA they coordinate something.
Okay.
Like roads.
Thanks, Rose. Okay. Counselor Aiken. Lillet Health Planning Working Group, Counselor McNary.
Yeah.
Lillet Indigenous Court Steering Committee, Keith. And my alternate is Counselor Reed, so good, thanks, Keith. MIA. So I have Counselor McNary, Flan, and Reed. The problem with MIAs, it's only once a year, it's always at UBCM, so it has to be somebody that goes to UBCM every single year, so, and put up for grabs, Counselor Flan, would you be interested in that?
This,
Counselor McNary, are you
That
okay
insurance?
to, yes,
No,
you want to keep it?
no,
No, you want to get rid of it? Okay,
yeah, I can take that one.
okay. And then alternate.
Yep.
Okay, and then alternate. Barb, do you want to move up to alternate, or you want to stay at second alternate? Are you gonna be going, are you not gonna?
I'd rather stay at second alternate.
Okay.
Probably go to UBCM this year. I don't know about next year.
So, okay. Counselor A, can we do the alternate? Can you do the alternate?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Thank you. And we'll keep Counselor Weave, second alternate. NDIT, I've got Counselor Weave, alternate Counselor Flynn.
I would like to keep that one, seeing as we already changed for Rolf and then changed back and, yeah.
Okay. I thought Flynn, you were
I'm
going
going to solve that.
okay. And I would like to keep SLRD and, TNRD. Counselor McNary,
I'll keep that.
okay, are we good? Great, thank you. And we appreciate everything you guys do on the committee because it is a commitment, right? And yeah, it's great to report back and hear what our committees are doing. Okay, that said, can I read all four of these together then?
If you would like, I'm happy to read out the resolutions and just look for a mover and a seconder.
Okay,
Okay, so the first, that the report on the election, that the report on the results of the 2025 by-election provided in accordance with section 158 of the Local Government Act be received for information. Counselor Plan. Counselor Weed. I'll let you.
all in favor? Carrie?
That effective May 21st, 2025, council authorized signing authority for financial and banking purposes for the district of Lillooet to the following individuals: Lori Hoffel, Mayor; Kevin Aiken, Councillor; Patty Flan, Councillor; Randy McNary, Councillor; Barb Weed, Councillor; Joe McCulloch, CAO; Joni LaRue, CFO, and then all prior authorizations be rescinded. Councillor Flan, Councillor Weed.
All in favor? Carrie?
That the updated 2025 acting mayor designations be adopted as presented.
Counselor McNary? Counselor Aiken? All in favor? Carrie?
Okay. And that Councillor Aiken replace Councillor Flan on the Lillooet Community Fund Committee. Councillor Aiken replace Councillor Weed on the Lillooet Elected Representative Road Committee. Councillor Flan replace Councillor McNary as the Maine Municipal Insurance Association of BC voting delegate. And that Councillor Aiken replace Councillor Flan as the alternate voting delegate. That's it.
Okay, moved by Counselor Aiken, Counselor Flynn, all in favor? Carrie? Okay, we are in, so I'll move on to 10.5. LCRBC L 25001 liquor license application, Lillet Brewing Company.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So recently in the last couple of weeks, the District of Lillooet received a notification from the Liquor and Cannabis Regulation Branch about a new application for a amendment to a existing liquor license for Lillooet Brewing Company at 104 Main Street. They're proposing to extend their existing outdoor patio. There is a picture, I don't really have time to put it up there, but there's a picture of the existing patio space, and there's kind of a grassy area beyond it. They're wanting to extend their patio area so they can have people play lawn games or picnic kind of in that space and be able to have liquor in that area as opposed to just restricted to where the existing seating is. When it comes to local government, there's three options that council can consider. The first one is to accept the application for formal consideration, which then means that the District of Lillooet is responsible for gathering public feedback and providing a formal resolution. So that means we would do, advertise in the paper and social media and the website and distribute mail out notices to nearby properties. Option 2 is to opt out, which means that the public consultation still happens, but it's run by the Liquor and Cannabis Regulation Branch themselves instead of the District of Lillooet. So they do the mail out and notice in the paper, and no further action is required by the district. Option 3 is to reject the application, which is an option, but it's not recommended by staff. So in the end, staff are recommending that council resolve to opt out of comment for this application because it's an existing liquor license. They have an existing patio. It's just an expansion of the existing space. Part of the reason we're recommending to opt out is because there's costs associated with advertising. Part of that can be recovered through a $750 application fee for liquor license applications, but there may be that doesn't necessarily cover everything. And because this isn't a brand new liquor license, it's just amending an existing one. That's what staff think is the best thing to do. And that's all I have on that.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Councilor Flynn?
I guess you kind of answered it. Forgetting about district cost and staff time, which I know is important, but I know you've said that we should be opting out, but would one or the other, do we know, be a little faster for them? I'm just thinking back to May last year when we opted out for the Legion's license. So they are still waiting for theirs as far as I know. I mean, we're not privy at all to what other problems they have had with that, but we're looking at over a year for their license.
Through the mayor, I'm not sure on their timeline. I mean, if we decided to go ahead with the gathering our own public feedback, I mean, that would probably take, at least a month or more to get the ads in the paper and all that. But I can't really comment on whether that would be faster than the.
Just the staff and them to be in the same situation as the Legion is.
Through the mayor, in the past, it hasn't necessarily been quicker or slower, but reasonable. I don't know what the issues are with the Legion and their application.
Any questions or comments? Councilor Aiken?
To the mayor, definitely did go with the public consultation, the liquor cannabis enforcement stuff with this. They would still be the public consultation as well. So we're basically work that they do decide.
Through the mayor, I don't think so. I think it's either or. Either the district runs it and then submits a report or something, I think, on explaining what was done, or they do it. It's not a duplicate.
So it's one or the other. Checks that box, I guess, as you can see.
Councilor Weir?
I believe in the past that we've always done it with the opt-out comment and that Liquor and Cannabis Board take care of it. And I do know that the Legion had other issues and now Tony Life is involved with helping them get their license back. Because for some reason, when it was put on pause, it got canceled by the board, which they're not allowed to do that. So, yeah. So it has nothing to do with what we did at a council meeting or anything.
Any further questions or comments? Okay, I will call the question. Will somebody please move that the council resolve to opt out of comment for the application LCRBL 25001? Councillor McNary, seconded by Councillor Aiken, all in favor? Carried. 10.6, Seton Lake Boat Dock License of Occupation.
Thank you, Susan. I appreciate Jody putting this one together for us. So, at any of our shorefront leases, there is what's called a license of occupation. It's a 10-year lease that we have so that we can apply to get a permit on any work. If we don't have a license of occupation, we can't even apply for any permits or any applications to actually do that. And in essence, we could actually lose that license of occupation back to the province. So we really want to retain these. All municipalities I've worked in, I've always worked very closely with the province on license of occupations. It's a very standard thing for us to renew. The cost of it is an astronomical $200. So it's not, it's an astronomical $201. And again, it's one of the things that we just do as part of the course for business, but we're doing a resolution to move that forward as well. So we'd appreciate council to look at this and see the application and make sure that we retain that. That allows us to apply for any permits. It does go through different changes. Each couple of years it changes from what's called a section 9 to a section 11, and some of the kind of notification periods change as well. But if we don't have that license of occupation, then we can't actually make any applications moving forward.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? Councillor Reid.
Through the mayor, I'm just curious, does the province consult with the First Nations or do we know?
Good meeting.
Sorry, through the mayor, I did reach out to them immediately after receiving this to ensure that they wanted us to go for the renewal, and yes, they did.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments? Councillor Aiken.
I'm just curious, the dock is in pretty rough shape at this point. There's some pieces that are missing, anchored on the shore, and I think it's gonna need some work, and when we go to do that, who's gonna pay for it, I guess is the question. Like with us jointly sharing the license, is it gonna be all on us? There's a, can we share?
Thank you. Through the mayor, typically if there's a license of occupation, it should be us. We would look at that. Actually, I think if we are, even better. My understanding is typically it's the person that has the license of occupation, but if it's previously been a joint effort, then we would have a discussion with TICO to make sure that we could get the joint costs covered with it as well. There are a number of grants coming up as well that look at new recreation facilities and infrastructures through UBCM. So we may just apply for the recreational or a grant application to cover the costs and then see what contributing factor for us and for TICO.
I think the last time work was done on it was it done by BC Hydro? Is that understanding? So maybe that's an option, but we're using the dock that we can have paid for it.
So yeah, just to piggyback on that too, the BC Hydro, I think I talked to Mr. Stowe about that too, is they actually have 3 or 4 anchors down there, big round circles. And I think that anchors the dock, does it? Yes. So I think Hydro definitely has something to do with it. Councillor Glenn?
Through the mayor, my question is similar, just with the license of occupation as to the application fees and the liability insurance, if that's going to be split between both parties.
Through the mayor, the application fee, historically, the district has paid the application fee. It's $201. The liability insurance, it doesn't actually add to our premium. It's included in our commercial or is a commercial liability, the blanket insurance coverage. they would want to have it included in their insurance as well.
Through the mayor, so basically we're covered with insurance, it's not an extra cost.
Correct.
And this license, it doesn't have any effect on the residents or properties out on Seton Lake. I always ask this, and I did go through this, but I couldn't see any changes to it that it would, not allow what we currently have in place.
So the proposed agreement, proposed license of occupation is the same as has been since, I think it's 1994.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I went through and I didn't see anything, but. Good, go ahead.
I've been through the mayor, do we do an assessment on the dock on a regular basis? Like I know right now there's a section where the dock used to be, that's like, there's an opening in the railing that just goes to nowhere. And you go up and down the dock and it's all, must be rotting underneath, I'm not sure. I think that's something we should consider doing to limit our liability there. Cute. All works.
Through the mayor, we have repaired it in the past year, parts and pieces of it, but it's more than just maintenance at this point. I think, yeah, you're right, you'll need a major touch up.
Sounds expensive.
Yeah.
Councilor McNary.
Okay, well, if it needs a major touch-up or whatever you wanna call it, who foots the bill for all that?
You go, Brian.
Through the mayor, as we mentioned, it's a joint, we're joint tenants in common. So both of the district and Cleekit's name are on the license of occupation. It seems only fair that we would share the costs for any repairs or maintenance that have to go into the dock. And then, of course, having BC Hydro using it quite regularly right now, I would imagine that would be a conversation that the CAO would also have with BC Hydro.
Okay, if that's the case, and that dock needs something done here before, like, what's the timeline on something like that, or does anybody have?
I can't answer that.
Yeah, just thank you through the mayor. So it typically dock repairs, we need to get the license occupation first. I think what we would do is we would need to go and get assessment done, see how it looks. I mean, a physical assessment from Public Works, see what kind of damage is done to it, see what the dock looks like itself, and then because this is a licensed occupation, they do require a lot of work to it even before we start on it. There's hydrology, there's an environmentalist involved, there's engineering involved. It's a process. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I've done this several times. It is a process. It is a significant process to run through that. The last time we did one in the shoe shop, we put out a floating dock and it took 2 years to complete. And it was a floating dock, it wasn't anchored to anything, and it was a plastic dock. And they wanted wind and wave studies, they wanted, it's a process. And I'll let you know that just now as a process. But where the dock is right now and what we're using it for, we maybe we can do some light maintenance or some checks and balances on it to make sure that it's still workable. In relation to who would be paying for what, then we're actively working on a municipal type service agreement as well with our partners. So that would be one of the things we would look to include in that and then discuss with them. This is something that we need to replace within the next 2 to 5 years. We need to be on it now. We need to put it in our next year's capital projects, next couple of years capital projects, and then we would put it in place and get it done. So we would work our way through that process. But the first step of that is obviously renewing the license. I don't remember, I was down there last year and seen it. I haven't had eyes on it for the last 6 months, so I would need to go and get a really good look of it with Public Works and see how it works.
Councilor Clark.
Through the mayor, so what happens to the dock if we say no to the license of occupation? Just throwing it up there.
Yeah, thank you through the mayor. It would probably be left there. It would probably just anyhow to go left there, but if we don't have the license occupation on it, then I would suggest that we would remove it from the insurance. and have nothing to do with it at all. I mean, we're basically saying that we own it, and we own that kind of parcel of water to be able to maintain it properly. So I don't know the general condition of it, but I know that if we're done by licensed occupation, the licensed occupation can take up to a year to get. So I would suggest that it would be left out there.
So through the mayor, it would possibly be dismantled if somebody didn't take on the license though.
More,
Being devil's advocate here.
yeah, through the mayor, more than likely the province would probably go back to the old owner of it and tell us to remove it. If it was deemed as, that would probably be one of the conditions under our current license occupation, is that if we reneged and didn't want to retain our license occupation, we can be asked to remove and repair up to the new riparian standard. So I would suggest that that is also a very expensive process. But a good question.
Councillor,
I think the question is answered.
Okay. Councillor McNair.
If that's the case, like, there's a lot of people use that dock and whatnot, and then if we don't take part in it, I think we're going to, have a lot of trouble. Cause whoever does take the dock over, they could start charging people to use the dock. I think we have a chance to, deal with it and partner up with people. And I think it would be foolish for us not to, approve this.
Any other questions or comments? Councillor?
Just, it would be nice to have sort of a report back to us on what needs to be done to the dog. Do we have time period, like it doesn't expire until February, is that correct?
Believe so, yes.
If we could get a report back before we sign the new license there, because if we find out it's gonna cost $5 million to fix it there, we won't take that off. Yeah, I'm just putting that out there.
Well. There you go.
If I could, through the mayor, they're looking for a response on or before July 2nd.
For me, I'm gonna support this because, like Councilor McNary said, if we don't own that dock, they could close it. They could, and all those people that have properties out there would be in a lot of trouble, and I don't wanna see that happen. Not to say that it would happen, but it could happen. I think that it's important that we do this, and no matter what the cost of the dock, I mean, we're gonna have to start, if it's a slow repair that we have to do a little bit at a time, then we have to do that. I mean, we can't just say, okay, well, we're not gonna do the dock because that's gonna cost too much money. I think that that's part of our community, and our community uses that, especially in the summertime. It's a big part. So for me, I'm going to support this. Councilor Weep?
Through the mayor, I also would like to support it. I would like possibly the CAO and the mayor to have a conversation, which you said it's TCLIT, right? Because I'm pretty sure that they would support us in grants and we would support them in grants. So I think that's probably our savior here.
As well as BC Hydro.
Yes, as well as BC.
Through the mayor, I'm for it as well. I just think that it should be public knowledge as to what would happen if the district did not take this on. Yeah.
There's two other things, just again, touching on it. One, it looks to me, as I'm looking at my map, it looks to me as if BC Hydro have an easement going to the Sealing Road. So we have an easement, road right away, and then it ends, and then it continues on through either Minishare Transport or BC Hydro. So it looks as if there's road access down to it. It's already there as well, which is quite an important piece to it. We do know that BC Hydro use that a lot. We know that over the next 10 years, there's going to be significant work done down in that area. So again, I think that's really important that we know that that's there, but it is public access for people up the lake. It's also public access and good to have for RCMP for local peace officers to use, conservation to use, Republic for economic development, all that kind of good stuff. But I do know, even in my time here, I know that Public Work do regular inspections on that. I want to say every other week, but I'm not sure, I don't want to say every other week. But I know that you guys do a lot of inspections on it, because I've seen the inspection reports. I think it's a very fair comment to get an inspection on it and have a look at it. The fear that I have is if you look at the CSRD, if you look at the Columbia Shuswap Regional District, I know that some of the license of occupations, private homeowners that have docks, they're being asked to remove their docks and then do repairs. And that also includes a lot of waterfront land as well. And in essence, we could probably lose a large section of that. So I think that this is really just, without this license of occupation, we won't be able to do any repairs to it. In essence, we can step back and say, we now no longer want it, even to do any sort of repairs to it, even to go down and do the boards or just nailing and screwing things onto it. We won't actually be allowed and permitted to go out and do it. So I think this is the first step to us getting into doing the repairs and making it proper. But I think they're good questions. And I appreciate the mounting costs that can come off the back of this. But I think it would be in everyone's best interest. BC Hydro has probably more use for that dock than we do. And I think that the community is probably the same.
Through the mayor, don't get me wrong, I think it's a great asset in the community, that it just can't be afforded if it comes down to, we have to fix it, it's gonna cost a pile of money there, so I just wanted to make that comment, I guess.
There's gotta be some grants and stuff for that kind of a thing too, eh? Like it's not, I'm almost thinking that, with the hydro and bounds and grants that we could get and even get support from the bounds and whatnot, that, I don't think it will cost the taxpayers very much. That's just my personal thought.
And we will reach out to Chief Sid and to BC Hydro. I think BC Hydro actually has a right of way on the other side of that canal too.
Yep.
That goes across. I think that was a few years ago. 5 years ago or something. But anyways, okay. Any further questions or comments before I call it? No, okay. Will somebody please move that the District of Lillooet, the tenants in common with the Cleakit First Nation, enter into a license of occupation for the Seton Lake Boat Dock, and that the District of Lillooet agree to acquire the license of occupation for a term of 10 years from the province over District Lot 3076, together with all that unsurveyed Crown foreshore being part of the bed of Seton Lake and fronting on road. All of Lillooet District containing 0.11 hectares, more or less, for public work and boat launch purposes, and that the mayor and corporate officer be authorized to execute all documents related to this matter. Councillor Reed, Councillor McNary, all in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Okay, 10.7 land use concurrence, telecommunications installation at Highway 12 and Jones Road.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So yes, Rogers is proposing to install a 42-meter tall new cell tower, wireless telecommunications self-support tower with a little equipment shelter and security fencing on private property at 708 Jones Road. There is a map on page. I'm gonna find it to you, and I lost it. On page 84, I think is the best one, but yeah. And in order for them to do that, they require a land use concurrence from the local land authority, which is the District of Lillooet. So they've indicated the purpose of the tower is to improve wireless coverage in the Lillooet area, in adjacent portions of Highway 12 to meet rising demands of wireless services. And they did highlight a few more specific benefits, such as improving access to emergency services by providing dependable cell service along Highway 12, supporting Rogers' overall goal of servicing the communities in the district of Lillooet by improving access to high-speed internet and other needed wireless services, improving the safety of those enjoying outdoor activities in the area with having better cell service, supporting working and learning remotely or remote working options as people have better service, and internet, they may be able to work from home better in that area. And maintain a low visual impact due to the positioning and the distance from Highway 12. So they followed the required public consultation process pursuant to the Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada default public consultation process. So they sent notification packages to property owners within a 126 meter radius of the proposed tower in January. They put a notice in the paper on January 22nd. The public comment period was open until February 26th. They received no public objections or significant concerns during that time. Staff do not have concerns with the proposed tower at the location and would recommend option 1, but council has the opportunity to consider both options. So option 1 would say that the district is satisfied with the consultation process as outlined, and the district has been consulted and concurs with the tower location. Option 2 says that the district of Lillooet has been consulted and does not concur with the tower location at Highway 12 and Jones Road. Those are your options.
Thank you. So just to go over the public consultation. So Rogers did do public consultation to the properties around there and also in the paper, and also, who's the other one? They did it on.
That's true. They did send the information to the Lillooet Tribal Council and Picket First Nation.
Okay. And they did not oppose, and, okay. Right. And then they did have where you could oppose it for so long of a period.
Yeah, they're public. Well, must have been from about a month long, that's public consultation period.
Okay,
Looking at the dates on them.
okay. So they did do public consultation. All right, Councillor McNeary?
Through the mayor, I would like to talk to one of them representatives because 126 meters isn't very far. And those people up on that resident are farther away from that. And I don't know if they've been contacted or not.
Through the mayor, to be fair, they're following whether it's federal or provincial regulations. These aren't Rogers regulations or TELUS's regulations. They're part of the, I believe, federal government regulations. So that's who it would have to be discussed with.
Not with Shaw.
No, they're following the regulations by doing the consultation within so many meters of where the tower is going to be sited.
It's okay.
Yeah, well, they got it, yeah. I don't know, I'd like him to consult with the people that live up there. Because 130 meters is not ridiculous. That's my thought, you know, kilometers is a bit much. But the people that live up there that are gonna live with that, I think they should be consulted. That's my thought.
So we,
Through the mayor, I'm kind of confused with these pictures on page 97. Is there something up there already? So
Yes,
the one picture, okay, it shows the smaller tower at a certain elevation and then a larger tower. So I'm just,
do you know Christina?
or,
You didn't see it.
Through the mayor, that's what I was gonna say, that, the site that they're choosing already has the TELUS tower on it and the South Carolina Communications tower on it as well.
So through the mayor, as a follow-up, can they not somehow, I mean, I'm very electronically challenged, trust me, I have trouble turning my laptop on. Can they not somehow all work off one tower? Why not? Like you would think, right? Like lease part of it out to TELUS and lease part of it, I don't know. I'm just curious.
Well, through the mayor, it does say on here that, is it 86 or,
Page 86.
yeah, that TELUS Tower is too short and that the South Caribou Communications Tower does not have the structural integrity for them to add on to that. So they already, according to this report,
Yes,
already,
I read the report, but I'm thinking, okay, so if they put a bigger, better, whatever, can the others not be gone? And you still just have one tower? I'm curious. Does anybody know?
Sounds reasonable. I do not know that because I'm equally challenged when it comes to technology. Counselor, can you want to jump in? Do you know about the tower too?
Yeah, we ride our bikes out there all the time. There's communication towers out there. There's also a burial ground out there. You may know of.
Yeah, I have heard that, yeah.
But I think it's a good location based on that there's other communication things, but I'd echo Randy or Councillor McNary's comment that 126 meters is a pretty small area, especially in a rural situation. I'm just wondering if, getting back to Mr. Coleman's comments earlier, that maybe we look into other districts and how they sort of work locally to have their own rules, like if we get an application, maybe go into our community and we say a 2-kilometer radius and we make sure that they're aware of what's going on there. I know there's a bare minimum of the federal regulations, but I think as a community there, like, if we put one downtown, like 126 meters is probably a property on the side of it, right? So
We have one.
Well, we have one at the district office and we have one on Mohawk Road, just going up at the top of Mohawk Road. I'm not sure about like the consultation going up to all those properties out there. Like, I think it's a good idea, but I mean, I also think that there was an opportunity for them to have that consultation. They did put it out there. And the other thing is if TELUS only had to put it out to 120 meters, and South Caribou Communications only had to put it out to 120, but we're gonna have Rogers come in here and say, you need to go to 200, even though you're going in the exact same spot as the other two. I have to wonder if that would be fair too, but Councillor, wait.
Well, through the mayor, like reading this map, the new tower that they're proposing is going to be 3 times the tower height. So to me, would you still just consult with the same number of people?
It's the BC law, like.
I understand that, but to me, it doesn't make sense, right? Like you've got these 2 smaller ones.
You should take it up at UBCM.
I might, who consulted with, like, within 126 meters, and now you've got this one that's going to be 3 times higher, consulting with the same people. And I'm just,
Sorry, through the mayor, it is based on the height of the tower. I'm just reading this, so
okay,
they have to go the height of the tower times 3 is how far around they have to consult. So probably the TELUS one is shorter. It was too short.
yeah,
They likely didn't have to go 126 meters. Maybe they only had to go 96. I'm just making up those numbers to be clear.
Great, okay. That's a plan.
I get you.
through the mayor, so I guess this brings up another part that's in this report on page 86, where they've referenced that for zoning, that the District of Rolla has not adopted a tower sitting bylaw. So what would a bylaw that consist of, and should that be something that we should be looking at in the future, just as wireless communication is becoming way more prevalent?
Through the mayor, I can't answer to what a bylaw would look like, but it's certainly something we could research for council.
Councillor Aiken.
I was going back to Mr. Quinlan. I think he referenced a few that were out there that this started.
I can reach out to the CSRD their CEO there, and pleased to work there. So, I'm doing that. But again, and I appreciate the conversation. I think the conversations is a valid one. I think we bounce around this, that we have federal restrictions, we have private companies looking at what they're doing with it, and then we're going to put on a massive level of consultation that we now need to do that is nowhere near. So if we were to say a kilometre, just to pick a number, we're now going to put our own bylaws in place to then try and govern this, or to then tell these people how to then do it, especially regulated at 126 litres. So we're going to require to go much further than that. Again, it just seems like we're, it seems almost the opposite of what we're seeing in other things where, government are asking us to do certain things, and yeah, it's red tape. We have these requirements in place for a reason. And I appreciate getting a bylaw, I appreciate having a look at these things. I think these are all valid things, but we could spend a lot of time, a lot of effort and money to then do in all of our requirements, for them to turn around and say, thanks for your consultation. And I've seen that happen quite often. That's what they say, they've got 126 meals. But then again, if we want to try and do it, it's council's wish. I don't mind taking it, put it on our website, put it on our Facebook, having a look at these other policies, seeing what we can do. I mean, there's consultation and then there's meaningful consultation. And I think sometimes we need to establish what meaningful consultation would look like, because staff are going to end up having to deal with a lot of these things. And then people are going to come back and be very fatigued when Rogers come around and say, thanks very much, but we'll just stick to 126 metres. Anyone outside of that, we're not going to. I'm not suggesting they will say that, but
Right.
I'm just kind of voicing my opinion on it.
And can I just go back to this, Tim, within this, the way I read this is that it is going to enhance Highway 12, like 911 and all service out there. Is that correct? Is that why it has to be so high? That's what I think I read in this, was to have to meet the growing demands, bring competition, choice to the region, and to improve wireless service along Highway 12 and the Lillooet area.
Does that just service Roger itself, or does it service Telus and all the rest of it?
Telus has their own, but again, I am challenged as well, but I look at improve access to emergency services by providing dependable cellular service along Highway 12 and the residents living in and around the Lillooet area. I mean, to me, those things are important. I'm going to support it. So that's where I am. Councilor Aiken?
I was supportive of it, but I'd like to see sort of a report on what other communities have done with their own bylaws. Because I think it's going to be something that's gonna come back again, and obviously our members in the community are concerned about it. And I think we need to react to that.
I support it too, but I'd like to know a little more about it.
Any further?
Just another comment, my favorite thing to do is to get out of cell service. But on the other hand, I'm a part of search and rescue there, so this is something that will enhance people's ability to call for help when they're in trouble, so. That's sort of way, benefit of trying to get away from it, the it benefits others and trying to get connected to it.
There's a power off.
Okay, you good? Okay, with that, will somebody please move that the District of Lillooet is satisfied with Rogers' consultation process as outlined in ISE default public consultation process, and that the District of Lillooet has been consulted and confers with the tower location on Highway 12 and Jones Road. Councillor McCary, Councillor Klan, all in favor? Sorry. All opposed? Councillor Wade is opposed. Uh, 10.8, garbage bins, a decorative yacht. Questions, Mr. Silver.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Cam So. I'm the Director of Public Works. Last council meeting, we presented a proposal to buy garbage bins that were very resistant, and there was a question about the wraps and how much they cost and what they pertain to. The wraps from the quote from Rollins that we're buying the bins off of is a $300 setup fee. And if we're gonna put all the same picture on all the bins, it's $300. If there's 2 pictures for 2 bins, and it's $300 each picture, and $800 for the wrap itself. This could be done before it's manufactured, or it can be done after manufactured. It's not as simple as before, it's easier before, but it can be done afterwards. Those wraps is the most decorative design that is possible. They're simpler decals you could put on the side of the bin, like magnetic stickers or like things you put on cars. But if you want a scene of like scenery or artwork, whatnot, those are those decorative wraps around the entire bin. They would last typically 5 to 8 years with regular maintenance, touch up and patching. And the information is for council to discuss.
Okay, well, I don't know who brought it up.
I love them. I would.
Counselor McGarry.
On the cost of, is that $800 for all the bins?
Each bin.
And I'd like to blame.
To the mayor, $300 setup and $800 for the wrap.
For each bin is.
$300 if we're all put in the same picture on all 8 bins,
Yeah,
$300, then $800 per bin.
So if one bin has 4 pictures on it,
That's $300.
that's $300, right? And then if we were to copy that, well,
$300.
$300
But
plus
one,
$8 or $800 on each bin.
so one a beaver, one a unicorn, $300, $800 a bin.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I don't know who brought it up, but for some reason, I love them and oh, 20. Counselor Reed? I think you brought them up, so.
I sure did, because I think, it goes under enhancing the downtown. Is the $800 for the bin and the installation of the bin?
No, through the merit, the bin is about $2,500 each.
Okay,
The wrap is $300 for the artwork setup
right.
and $800 for the wrap itself.
And it's 3 to 5 years, so if we stretched it out. I just think it looks so much nicer downtown than.
Counselor Bun?
Through the mayor, I don't know if I'm with the explanation there, but I know I've done printing with other things there. And the setup would be a one-time fee for, so the one setup with, say you wanted the one bin with like 4 pictures, that would be the one setup of $330. And then each bin you got would be 800. It wouldn't be a 330 plus 8 for each bin, only if you changed the design for each bin.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's a lot. It's pretty. I had kind of thought that if we were doing something like that, either contacting the banner committee and using banners that have been done before and that. And well, my thought is it would be lovely, it would be pretty, but we need the bins now instead of us waiting for consultation period to find artwork and get something, get something there. I think it would hold up the bins coming. And you know me, I'm all for the pretty stuff. So I'm thinking we should just hold off, though I really hate the drab green that's been picked. That any subsequent bins, we actually put more thought, because we're gonna need more bins, the 10 that we've got. And then maybe think a more thought out process of getting something for them.
Through the mayor, it is possible to put the wraps on the bins 2 years later after they've been installed.
Oh, they come here and do that?
I don't know how they installed it, but
Okay.
they definitely said that they can do it afterwards.
My question is this one company or like, is there multiple companies that do this? And is this the cheapest price or is it in the middle of midline or is it?
Through the mayor, there are many companies that do it. There's many companies online that do it. I would say this price is maybe on the high end.
Okay, so there is a little bit of comparison. And I also have to wonder if we can't, are they paintable? Like, could we have a consultation where we get an artist to come and paint one? Is that, supply and paint or whatever?
Through the mayor, I'm gonna step in. For the last time, Mr. So said that the wraps are good because they do, help with stop graffiti. It's not as difficult. The thing with painting would be good, but for me, the painting would be really easy for scratching and scuffing and
We don't-
graffiti.
Yeah, COVID.
And muralists cost a lot of money. You'd be looking at more than wrapping.
I myself personally, I'm not gonna support the wrap. I don't think we're getting enough bang for our buck. 4 to 5 years. Somebody get a rock or something, start scratching it off, repairs. That draft green looking better all the time.
Have to agree. Lump them. Okay.
I guess the question I have is how much time you guys spend, removing graffiti from bench? Is there a ballpark number, like hundreds of dollars a month or?
Through the mayor, I have to think about a particular number. You could probably see some of the graffiti still in place. Sometimes we can't get it off of like concrete and it's covered in orange, so there is graffiti around town.
I think I'm on board with Councilor plan, but not to me, because I think it was made with the hairs around and they're gonna get into the garbage if you want to have something to keep them out, so.
Through the mayor, the order has been placed. It takes 8 weeks for the bins to be delivered. I did discuss it with the supplier that we're gonna discuss the council at this council meeting, the wraps. So they are prepared to put wraps on it if we decided to do it, but the order has been placed for the bins.
Councilor Fun?
Through the mayor, I'm all for the wraps, but I don't think with that 8-week period for the bins, if we were wanting to wrap them beforehand, we have enough time to get something nice designed or put on the bins at this point. But maybe something that we look into that could be added later, that we don't decide right now, add them later, and then any other bins that we do, we could possibly do that at the time. So I don't know if there's a change there or what.
Any further questions or comments? Councilor Aiken?
Through the mayor, it's garbage to death, but, I'm a big fan of the wrapping in there, and just for the sole fact that it cuts down on the vandalism, like, we can cut down the time it takes to do that, in 8 weeks, I think we could find some local art that somebody could put on there very easily, I think. I don't know what besides that, but,
Can I ask, how many garbage cans do we have already?
I'll have to get back to you on that.
But we ordered like, what was it, 10 of them last year, or 12 of them last year, and it came 6 doubles and.
Yep.
I think we have 6 doubles and we've ordered 10 more, so we basically have 16 garbage cans. Somewhere in
That's a good
there,
number.
16, okay, and then times that by 500 would be, oh God, 8,000. And then another 300 for if we agreed on one picture. Is that one more, right? 800 per piece there.
800 per piece, not 500.
Oh, 500, right, okay, so that's a lot of money.
Look at it, probably an extra $15,000 or something, I'm thinking, right?
For garbage cans. So
Don't think it looks that nice to me.
for
Through the
5
mayor,
years, and I would like to see if there are cheaper places like.
through the mayor, from an operational standpoint, the picture does prevent graffiti, but if a picture is a little bit faded, there's a little bit of scratch on it, then it's the exact opposite of the achievement that we're trying to get. Then everyone notices a scene with a giant scratch on it, and then it doesn't look as pretty anymore. But they all have green, if there's a scratch on it, no one notices a scratch.
Right, okay, since we're fine.
Through the mayor, I'm kind of thinking through that, draft green can be purchased anywhere for touch-ups.
John, do you agree?
No, that's kind of.
Councillor Aiken?
One last question, relate to the mayor. I'll make splash here. The question to Public Works, what would you prefer? You're the ones that look after it, so.
Thank you for asking.
You don't usually.
Through the mayor, if it was a choice between operational, I would choose brown green because it's easier to maintain. If it was for downtown visualization, and aesthetically pleasing was the goal that we're going after, then we should go for the wraps. But for an operational standpoint, I would go for the drab green.
Thank you.
Councillor, well, I'm gonna go to our CAO first now.
Thank you.
You want me to go?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
Always go ahead.
Oh, okay. When I thought about the wraps, I was thinking of the downtown garbage cans only. I wasn't thinking of Conway Park and the ones that we already have there.
Okay.
I was just thinking because we've got this vibrant downtown that we're trying to do. So where do we start, right? We've got some lights there for the farmer's market or whoever wants to do whatever. And I don't know if that's what I was thinking, was just the downtown core. Any that you've got that are going over to the Miyazaki house or whatever, let them pick their own wrap.
We could apply to the little community fund, which we don't want.
So I believe when I was listening in last week, Cam brought forward the garbage cans, which is always a good conversation, because it always kind of does this, which is always good. And the questions that were asked were, how much would it cost to wrap? How do we wrap them? What does it look like? That's what Cam was kind of bringing forward. So it's just the other guy. We have a couple of options that we can look at. I think we're all the same. We're all pretty much there. We're trying to make garbage look good. That's hard. That's difficult. That's a difficult thing to do. You don't want to rush it. And you also don't want one consistent pitch up through your whole town, because it never looks good. Like if we just picked apples, just as an example, you don't want just a row of apples and then people look at it, or just make it look like wood or timber all the way through the town. It never looks really good. We have a brand. We paid a lot of money for the brand. We want to make sure we get it on point. We want to make sure that it looks good, and it does. It resembles a clean downtown, vibrant town. The banner committee, I believe, is now no longer operating, because we were talking about it this week, or last week. So the banner committee itself isn't actually operating what it looks like this year. So again, allow staff the opportunity to go away. I think the idea is, let's get the garbage cans in place, let's get them ordered, let's get them in, let's make sure we're looking at it. And then I think for next year's budget, I think it would be a good thing to bring forward and consult with the public. We can put it out there. It becomes quite difficult because I've seen this done in communities where they think, we'll go to the school, we'll get the school kids to design it, and then some of the designs are that because a good word. But and then I think we could spend a lot of money looking at graphic designers and all these other things. And so I think what we should do this year is, if council are up for it or want to look at it, is let's get the garbage cans in place, let's get them in, let's get them installed. Let's look at these UV protected jute wraps that we can get on it. Let's get 3 decent quotes for it. Let's get back to some public consultation. Let's actually look at what aligns with the branding and what actually works in our main street. And then let's pick a small group and then work your way through it. Even if you only want to do 5 every year, we don't all need to do the whole in 1 year. We can work our way through it a little bit more.
Excellent, thanks. How's their plan?
You could put pictures of bears on them.
I like the unicorn first thing. That's what,
That was gonna be our April Fool's joke.
yes.
Unicorn? Because.
No. Okay, so through the mayor, so when there's a couple of councillors away, in council, and Christina, actually, I was pointing that out, wanted to declare an April Fool's joke on everyone and say that we're getting the, oh, we're not, and then we had to stop it. It was getting carried away. So we haven't done it this year, maybe next year we might do it. It was part of that, but it's had to be kind of it. But no, I like the idea of a unicorn, but that's just true.
And why is that?
The unicorn is the national animal of Scotland. Unicorn,
Do they have many?
Absolutely, that.
yeah.
Who said that?
Well, it's the unicorn and then the haggis and then the Loch Ness monster, so.
Okay, I'm gonna bring this back to the garbage bin, so if anybody wants to make a motion for the wrap, fine, otherwise I need somebody to move to receive. Your
To receive.
move to receive, do we have a seconder? I'll second it, move to receive. Counselor Plant?
So we're just receiving that, but we're going with
Yeah.
Mr.
They will bring something back at a later date.
Okay.
Do something.
Counselor Aiken?
This is like way outside the box thinking, but we sell like advertising on it.
And we'll have that question when they bring back something, out. But we're just doing, we got a motion to receive and it's seconded. Counselor CAO.
Yeah, no, so, I mean, not, sorry, I'm here,
We're good?
motion on the table for.
Okay, all in favor? Motion carries.
Spend a lot of time in garbage cans.
Spent it on the
And
lawn.
the council thinks one thing, and that's really, it's actually a really good, that's a really good suggestion that you may get something like the Vic Power bylaw or anything like that might turn around and say, we will sponsor one. And then, but again, you want them to work in the preview, or they want them to work in the same design, so yes, you can, but maybe you can only advertise on the outside edge. You want it to be consistent, it's got a kind of good consistency, you can, but then we want them to work along this kind of route with it, but that may cover the cost for it, so maybe a fantastic suggestion. I like it.
Not good at these birds. Maybe the Chamber of Commerce would like to run it through their businesses, whether they won't advertise on it or not. They can put the bill for it themselves.
Okay, moving on to 10.9. Follow-up questions from the bulk water station tender. Mr. So.
Thank you. There was a staff report presented to purchase the bulk water station last council meeting. There were some questions from council that I think will be addressed in this report. 3 questions were concerning the warranty, the shipping, and the ASSE 1060 standard. We have a consulting engineer when we procured this bulk water station. We asked them about the warranty and if there's any new parts that need to be installed into that are defective, they still have to meet shop approval drawings. And I think one of the concerns was that we might get subpar parts. This is a very unique station in that there's not too many parts to salvage from. And if they did have, I don't know how they're getting their particular parts, but if they did, it would be a refurbished one that was fairly new, or they'd have to manufacture it itself. So the consulting engineer felt that it was pretty standard wording within the warranty for the replacement parts.
Before you go on to number 2, does anybody have any questions about that? Councilman.
Through the mayor, was this? I don't know why I didn't think of it before. Was this put out to bid, this thing?
Yes, BC bid.
Yeah.
Okay, Councilor Aiken, on number 1.
Through the mayor, just to get myself up to speed, this is at the water treatment plant, there's a station for filling those tanks and stuff too.
Yeah, currently, by the caretaker house, there's a wooden cabinet and it's basically a hydrant. The bulk water station is, it's unmetered. It's just delivering water that's free to the atmosphere. So there's concerns about sanitary issues. So if you put a bulk water station in, people can drive up to the truck and then with the crane, water will be delivered on top. And it'll be measured, be a credit card slot, and then it'll be delivered in a sanitary manner.
And how long has that been in service for?
The hydrant?
That service to get the water there, like if it's an extension of the water treatment plant, right, it's treated water.
Correct. as long as we know.
Yeah, well, the water treatment plant was commissioned in 2015, so I would imagine approximately the same time.
Yeah, I just remember when it's a council last time, we talked about setting up a system to meter water, and at the time I thought it was a go. But this whole time we've been giving away free water is what my view of it is.
There's a license for, you have to buy the permit for the water, so it's not free, but it's unlimited per license.
Thank you.
Okay. No more questions on number one?
The second question was, there's questions about the manufacturer shipping, who is responsible. Part of the contract is the shipping, so we would inspect it when it's delivered as part of the contract. And then they would have insurance for their delivery because the requirement is deliver on site, for the bulk water station.
Any questions on number two? Karen?
Third question is, we didn't ask for an AASE 1060 standard. And that standard is to measure the performance rating of the protective covering from minus 40 degrees Celsius to positive 40 degrees Celsius. At the time of the bid, we waived this requirement specifically because the vendor didn't have the requirements to measure the standard. We could do that. We would just have to pay for the standard. In consultation with the consulting engineer, we felt that because of the performance standard of the bulk water station and the temperature climate that we live in, we can safely waive this requirement and save some money.
My question was, it says that would meet equivalent performance requirements, including weather protection from 40 degrees from minus 40 degrees Celsius to plus 40 degrees Celsius. But often in Lillooet, and with the hotspot of Canada, it goes over 40 degrees. Is that have any bearing on this? Because it says 40 degrees Celsius. But I know that it was recorded at, I think the highest is 47 degrees.
Through the mayor, that's a really good question. I was actually thinking of minus 40 degree would be the issue. I think the wording is the performance requirements and that they can't state further that it'll still work. But I'll need to get back to you on the plus 40. That's actually a good point.
And so what they're telling you is that it's insulated. They just can't guarantee you how cold it'll handle.
If we applied for that standard, like it wouldn't change the cabinet. We would just get the approval standard.
Okay, so it's good.
It's good. It'll work.
It just, okay.
We just don't have that standard. We can get that standard if we want.
No.
We just have to pay for it.
If it's gonna work, it's gonna work.
I've got Councillor Flam and then Councillor Lee.
Came through the, so just reading on the original thing here that you've submitted here, it says that they have confirmed during the process that the enclosure would meet the requirements of plus or minus 40 Celsius. So if they have confirmed that, then can we take that is their official response? So if something did go awry, plus or minus, they would be stepping in to fix it. It's not like, yeah, it says here that they have confirmed the process.
I'll have to get back to you on that. I haven't thought about this that far, that deep.
But my point is if they did and something went awry at 38 degrees, then I would say that they probably would. But if it's 43 degrees, then would they?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Councillor Lee first.
Through the mayor, I'm just kind of curious. So let's say we got down to minus 45 degrees Celsius, which is never going to happen in my lifetime. But can you turn these things on and off? Like much like your sprinkler system or whatever? Okay, it's too cold today. We're shutting that off. Car washes don't run when it's minus whatever because of water freezing and this, that, and the other. And the same with it being too hot. Like, can the system just be turned off for the day?
Yeah, through the mayor, the performance, the way that I read equivalent performance requirements means that it's rated to work
Yes,
within those temperatures. If it gets below that temperatures, like below or high, you probably shouldn't be using it.
right.
You can cover it, like prevent it from freezing, or you can just like not use it when it's super hot.
Okay.
Whether, I don't think they listed the extremes that it could work, but they're saying the performance temperatures is standard from +40 to -40.
Councillor McNair.
And the heat program, I don't know where it would come into effect on that thing other than electronics. And I mean, it drops below that in the evening, so people that need the water can pick it up in the evening. Cause it's definitely computerized, you know, it's just shut down for the hot weather. And you would have to do the same with the cold weather, or also.
Okay. So just to reiterate then, if it did go over 40 degrees and we knew it was gonna be prolonged for the next 3 days, we could shut it off during the day and warn people that are using it. Or maybe just put a sign out there saying any temperatures over 40 degrees will be shut off during the day, but when the temperature drops at 7 o'clock at night or something, then
I could talk to the manufacturer to see what their standard performance requirements of +40, because there's not many places that gets +40, so that's why they didn't write +50.
Right. Right, but it does here.
Yeah.
Councillor Aiken? Flashing.
Just to refresh my memory here, the standard you're talking about, does that have anything to do with the quality of the water? Like,
No, it's the cabinet temperature, that's rated, performance rated between -40 and +40.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that it can't work when it's 45 or -45, it just.
Right.
For the wording for their standard is -40 to +40.
Thank you.
All right, really, then, do we typically use it during the winter?
Through the, right, yes,
Yeah, I was kind of saying that to Tal on the way out. I suppose if we did see a significant drop in temperature, the kind of thing that we can drain and bleed and, you know, winterize in some respects. Right? So if we did see a particularly cold snap, then we could probably just winterize it, switch off for a couple of days. You know, keep trace it, put it back on, make sure it's okay. You know, do a bit of preventive maintenance on it if we knew there was going to be a really, really poor season, that we knew it was going to be really bad, we could protect it in that for sure.
Hey, I'm good to support this. I think I would still like to know the answers, but I'm good to support it in the meantime. Does anybody have any more questions or concerns? If not, I will call the question. Okay, will somebody please move that the written responses to all questions previously raised regarding the proposed bulk water station purchase be received, and that the bulk water station tender be awarded and purchased by staff in accordance with the submitted bid. Councilor McNary, Councilor McLean, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, no recommendations. Resolution.
There is a bylaw.
There's a bylaw. 4.1. Building bylaw housekeeping amendments.
Need to do the presentation.
Oh, you sure?
Right.
I made a presentation. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
This way, I knew that. 12.1, yeah. Where's yours?
Okay, so this is just some like housekeeping amendments, as we've been working through the bylaw, and finding some little, you know, what does this mean exactly? Or typos or something like that, so there is, this bylaw was adopted in 2021, so it's just a little bit of amendments in the appendix A. Yes, like I said, just some inconsistencies or editorial concerns. Go to the next one. You know, we'll get to it. So appendix A, the definitions, just change it to align with the new definitions in the construction community. The Architects Act doesn't exist anymore, so that's now the Provincial Governance Act. And then the building official definition is in line with the Building Act definition. And then right now, we have a security deposit for complex buildings of $5,000, but we found it a little bit excessive if they were just doing a little tenant improvement. So we want to add for the smaller projects, security deposit of $1,000. And then 2C, changing must to may. This is one of the recommendations from MIABC that we don't, because right now it says that building official must issue a building permit. Just changing it to may issue a building permit. And then clarifying the date of issuance of a permit to be in line with the pickup and payment date, because right now it's the date that we're telling them their permit's ready, and sometimes they don't come in for a week or two or a month. So that's just to be in line with the pickup and payment date. Yeah, then we had somebody who was canceling a building permit and it was just 15%. And so like this particular project was really big and we were gonna say collect the 15% fee, which was really large. So we just wanted to have a maximum amount of $1,000 because just to recoup our administration costs to cancel a permit. And then 2E is just correcting a typo. That's it.
Thank you for the mayor, because I really appreciate the work that you're putting in. I really appreciate your dedication and the work you've been doing for a little bit in the last year. It's been difficult, it's been hard to kind of re-engineer, unwind all the work, move it forward. But a lot of the hard work that you've done, even just coming up here this week and working with us, you were meant to be coming here today to do, and I maybe should share it, maybe I shouldn't, but you were meant to be coming here today to put another 2 notices on title. But we now have compliance. We now have these compliance issues moving forward. And they're moving forward before we're coming before council because of the work that Zara's put in. It's because she's easy to get a hold of, doing virtual inspections. We're working our way through the process, and we're working our way through the process in a really clear fashion that is easy for people to be able to work through. So once they're engaging the right way and they're talking to Zara, it's actually working in a really, really positive manner. And we've actually heard that response from people that have went through the process and said, I thought this was going to be all of this, but now I realise I just need to do this. It's like, yeah, that's all we need you to do. Oh, right, okay, no problems, fine. I'll get it done and move it forward. And through the process that we've been going through the section 57s and the notices on title, the compliance rate of what we're working through just now is taking council out of liability and also brought a lot of these long-term issues into compliance. And a lot of these ones that were in compliance now, the ones that we had that difficult time with for council to kind of go through, they've either sold, passed hands, brought in, or they're working through their permits, or they're getting building permits in place, or they've actually engaged an architect and they're able to now sell the businesses. It's a positive thing, and I really applaud council because that was a very, very hard session to go through. But we guys went through it and it was very difficult to do it. And now we're actually seeing the fruits of that. So well done, because that's hard. That was not an easy thing to go through. So we're actually seeing that now coming forward in a really positive way. Zara's been light on these changes because one of the applications was hundreds of thousands of dollars, 15% of hundreds of thousands of dollars is a lot of money, and we are easing back because when we go through this, one of the things that we're looking at was the $5,000 minimum. It was for somebody to drill 2 holes, they had to pay $5,000. And that person came forward and said, I think this is a lot of money to pay. We said, thanks very much. So that construction worker came to us and said, I literally need to drill 2 holes and I need to pay a $5,000 deductible. And it will be a year before the project's finished for me to drill 2 holes, and he couldn't get his money back until he. So there's been a lot of changes, and they're actually helping the business world and they're helping the building and construction world as well. So I thank you for that. Thank you for your diligence and being available for us to kind of talk to you so much as well. So thanks.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. It's really good to know that the community, because we make promises to the community to get rid of red tape and everything, but it's hard for us and but we appreciate everything that you've done. And I applaud the community for coming in and pointing out things like that we do have, bylaws or whatever in place that should be. So, thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments? And Councilor Gary?
I also haven't heard any complaints at all about the building inspector. Myself personally, and they pick on me pretty hard.
I just want to say that I did have a couple of questions, but Sarah answered them all in her presentation, so they're covered.
Okay, with that, will somebody please move that the building bylaw number 2021-006, amending bylaw number 2025-025 be introduced and read a first time. And that building bylaw 2021-006, amending bylaw 2025 be read a second time and a third time. Councilor McNary, Councilor Reid, all in favor? Carried. Motion passed. Is there any unfinished business or notice of motions? No, okay. Report, I'm gonna do half of my report in, under new business, but I just wanted to say that I stopped in at the museum on the day of the Lillooet Over the Years book launch, that was written by Eric Sathers and edited by Wendy Fraser. I caught the end of it. I went back the next day and bought a book for Frank's birthday present. Don't tell him it's birthday till August, so. But I think he'll really enjoy that because I feel like he really, yeah, he won't. But yeah, it's a really great book and he really likes that history. So any history books out there, it's quite a beautiful book. I've looked through it. So, and I also want to thank the beautification committee for all the flower planting around town. You never say enough about our volunteers and how much they do and how much we need them. Thank you. Move on to, Councilor Aiken. What have you done in the last hour? Like to do a round table, a speech, anything?
Probably a pretty short speech as far as council stuff goes, but, yeah, I think, I want to thank the community for supporting me for this position and, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next year and a half. Because we've got pretty darn good staff and, yeah, it feels good to be here. So, thank you.
Thank you. Number fun.
Okay, I got a little bit. May 15th was the Lillooet Area Library Association AGM and nomination of board members. The annual report and financial statements were presented as well as the election of directors. Jessica Johnson and Maggie Lord stepped down from the board as their terms were done. The Lillooet Library Association would like to thank Maggie and Jessica for all of their years of service there. Greg Distraka and Christine Galeazzo have stepped forward in spaces as new trustees. So the Lala board is now Bain Gare Chair, Paul Bland Vice Chair, Betty Weaver Treasurer, Christine Galeazzo, Greg Distraka, Vivian Birch Jones for the SLRD, myself for District of Lillooet, and Toby Mueller is the Library Director. The AGM was ended with a video highlighting the renovation journey. There's actually 3 videos on the Lala YouTube channel that people may want to have a look at. But I'd like to share just this short fun reel that just shows the before, during, and end of the journey for the library renovations. It's about 2 minutes. Some local contractors sold some free painting, did the painting there, and then some contractors as well from Lillooet. It's a much longer video as well. Shows more in depth with the whole process. I did actually ask some of the board members if they could relate when the last time the library was renovated, but there was a whole bunch of fuzzy memories there. Some people have been on the board for a long time, others are new, so wasn't too sure. But this is shown here when they moved everything out. They had the library in the arena. I think they had it in room 101 and also 203. So they were still working while the library was being renovated. Yeah. Actually quite big with that all the books. Here it is all finished. There's still a few more finishing touches that needs to be, and with all sort of projects, there's a few things that didn't go for exactly how they wanted, but that's all going to be rectified fairly quickly. But as you can see with the new paint and carpet and just the layout, there's new seating, different places there. It's actually a way brighter area. That's a lot more welcoming than it was. That section there is the new young adult section, so they actually have a place where all of their books are in the same spot and everything else, just getting sure for a little bit. The seating is wonderful. Those little tables actually move. But there was a lot of hard work done by the library staff, and they're to be commended there. But yeah, so that's the library. If you haven't been in, go and have a look. It does look quite snazzy now. Okay, May 16th was the presentation of the Little Community Fund check. LCF community members, Steph Witt, Scott Taylor, Kathy Rosler, and myself presented a grant check of $1,000 to Leslie Peterman and to Mike Moore on behalf of the Little Elks Lodge to support the revitalization of the Elks Lodge on Melhar Road. Definitely to seeing the Elks Hall really open to the community. They're doing a whole bunch of stuff here with recertification for different things as well. Just a little plug, as always, we should acknowledge that the Little Community Fund is proudly administered by the BC Interior Community Foundation, which we are very grateful for their ongoing partnership. And just a reminder that donations are always welcome to the Little Community Endowment Fund, and they can be made through the BC ICF website and also through the District of Lillooet website. All donations help fund and provide support to community projects. Next intake is October 15th. And then my last thing, something I personally didn't take part in, but it was on May 16 as well, and that was the Public Works Day at Payush Campground. I just wanted to share some great feedback that I received back and to give a shout out to Tanner Sheridan and the Public Works team. Tanner did an awesome job organizing tours of the water treatment plant and showcasing the district equipment as part of Public Works Week. He was really flexible, adjusting dates and setting things up so the schools could attend to get the most out of the experience. Students had fun. It was a hands-on look at what it takes to keep our town running smoothly. The kindergarten teacher told me that the tour was fantastic. The kids had a blast. They got to interact with a lot of equipment. They visited the water treatment plant, learned about filters. They were able to touch some of the old filters. They learned about water testing, saw demonstrations, and saw what the different colors in the testing process meant. They also got to climb in the cab of the garbage truck, not in the back, but in the cab. They got to honk the horn. They watched an excavator dig a hole and then fill it back up. They sat on a tractor and did a whole bunch of other fun but safe stuff with the equipment. The teacher said it was a really great community event and the kids had an absolutely amazing time there. So I just wanted to recognize what a great initiative this was with the Public Works Week. And a huge thanks to Public Works and to Tanner, and a job well done. And that's me.
Wow, very good. That's, we got few little public workies in the.
It was very, very well received. The kids loved it, and yeah.
Counselor McNary.
The only thing I took part in was the races up at the airport. They went over very well. Not so good for me, but a lot of the boys, we had a local fella win the top prize in one of the categories. That's Jamie Warren, and it went off very well, and it brought a lot of out-of-town people in, and we have another race coming this weekend. It's a money race also, so it's gonna bring in, I think there's about 35 or 37 different cars coming in for it. So it's doing very well.
That's great.
And other than that, it's got a whole bunch of chickens and pigs and stuff like that.
I heard you had 21 little pigs
I
coming.
did,
I thought Joni was gonna get one to take home.
Vacancies.
I got one for
I think we should have made one holy.
There you go.
Yes, Richard, send it to her.
Counselor Reed.
I have nothing to report. I'm really glad I get to follow Councillor McNary because it's just easier than following Councillor Flan. And I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of videos and whatnot that Councillor Aiken comes up with for the Littlewood community. That was awesome, Patty, thanks. And
Okay.
welcome.
I think, CEO, do you have anything to say? I know your report is gonna come next.
Yeah, I apologize.
No,
So
no.
typically I always do a 26-page,
You do,
it's
so-
always a little bit, it's always a little bit over the top, to be honest. But typically for my CEO report, I like to just put on what we've done each month. So what public works are working on, what recreation department are working on, what planning are working on, what bylaw is working on, the fire department, how many calls they've had. And then just a general kind of overview of the meetings that I've been involved with. So the council and staff and public are just aware of the work that not only I'm kind of doing, but also what staff are up to in a meeting. So it's kind of nice, every couple of weeks. It's good for people just to be able to see it, like bylaw kind of get a hard rap, but when you see that they've taken 50 phone calls and they've had to do 101 other things, it's kind of good to kind of see that. Unfortunately, my daughter this week was taken, or 2 weeks ago was taken into hospital. So she was very, very unwell for 2 weeks. So I really appreciate the opportunity from council and the kindness and well wishing of my daughter and my family. So I really appreciate that. We do have a council to council community, it's a community meeting coming up, which council will be involved with. So I need to know that council can all attend that, which will be next Friday, the 30th. So I'll be sending out an SVP for council to make sure you can attend that council to council meeting. We are of course still working with interior health and the hospital closures just now. The mayor's been very active with that. And again, we're working alongside senior staff in the hospital to try and help as much as we possibly can. We're working closely with Alpine Engineering and the planning department just now to get some dates for the new zoning bylaw. That'll be coming back shortly for you for public consultation. But it's real kind of go time for us. Everything's starting to kind of move now. You know, the budget's passed. This is us now. This is where we start to kind of see projects coming forward. Large conversations about archaeology, large conversations about archaeological work with the ministry. And then there will also be continued conversation with archaeological work when we actually meet up for our CEC meetings. So we'll be kind of deep diving into these conversations. But yeah, next one will be a lot more kind of inclusive of what you usually see with me. And then the last time the Chamber of Commerce board members came to one of our special council meetings, we should be doing regular quarterly updates for council as well to see. That was to be planned in this one, but we will be doing regular quarterly updates for council for the strategic priorities and also where we're at with some of our budgets as well. So yeah, we did buy a new fire truck. Command truck.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll move on to, meeting business, 18.1. I pulled 8.1.5, and that was correspondence from Josie Osborne. So part of my roundtable and part of this letter, I just wanted to say that, so I wanted to share this letter from Minister Osborne and clarify that while it might come across as a bit generic, I have been in contact with her. I believe she is genuinely working on the issues contributing to our emergency room closures, which again, we have one tonight. Tonight from 7 p.m. till 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And this year we faced, a significant number so far. However, I do want to highlight major developments, and that is that the 4 PRA, the practice ready assessment positions that are coming to BC, all 4 have committed to making Lillooet their home for the next 3 years. So one is here already. I'm hoping to meet with him next week. We've been kind of emailing back and forth. 3 more in September. And so, yeah, from what I understand, Lillooet received 4 out of 4, which is encouraging and much needed win for our community. However, between now and September, we'll continue to see closures due to ongoing acts. So I'm encouraged by the arrival of new physicians because I still feel, as we all do, a real sense of unease every time another closure notice comes in. So just yesterday, I heard there was another locum in town. So locum comes and covers any shifts that they can, when another doctor from Lillooet wants that time off. So he was here for 3 days, covering the ER. So I went down to the hospital. He was not there, but I left my merit card for him along with the message that if he was considering making the move, to call me, email me, let me know what he needs. And I'm trying to catch all the locums as they come in and when they are here so that I can give them my card. So I've done that a couple of times. I've left them at the hospital for nurses to give out and just hopefully we can have one of them come here. And through all of this, I have to say, RCA is working very hard with Ontario Health and myself to support the community in Lillooet Hospital. And that truly makes a difference as we continue towards working towards long-term solutions. So I really appreciate all the work you put into it as well, and all the listening and the thank you.
No, I was trying to be kind to
I do. Listen to this email. What do you think of this? And, well, I do. I'm sorry, but, okay. Will somebody please move to receive 8.1.5? Councillor Reid, Councillor Flynn, all in favor, carried. And then I'll go on to 8.1.6. And I just pulled this correspondence from Shelley Quinn regarding the feedback to zoning and business license bylaw. Just to ask if staff can make sure that this letter is included in the public process when we do the zoning. That was all that was it. I just didn't want this letter to get lost. I thought it was a really good letter, so. Okay, and I will move to receive 8.1.6. If I can have a second there, Councillor Reid, all in favor, carried. Thank you. Okay, where am I? Media is not here tonight, so questions from the public. Okay, do you want to step up to?
No, I'm curious to know how many signatures would council acknowledge as being significant enough to consider establishing a protocol, policy, or bylaw that relates to cell phone tower development for Lillooet Junior.
How many signatures?
How many signatures would, if there's not a desire within the administration to do it, is there a certain number of signatures that could be accrued from the community that would request a bylaw being established so that there's greater certainty around the development of cell phone towers within the district's limits?
Okay, so I'll ask for clarification with this, is if we did, again, have a bylaw that was greater than what the province was asking, could that carrier, would he have to go through the province, meet the province's requirements, or would he have to meet ours as well? Or could he just meet the provinces and say, I'm meeting the provinces? And if that's the case, then he doesn't need our approval. He meets the province's approval.
follow up?
Follow-up.
So my question specifically was, is there a desire, first, is there a desire by the district to consider establishing a bylaw policy or protocol for the development of cell phone towers in the future? And if not, how many signatures would be reasonable for the administration to consider that there is a reasonable concern among the residents that a better development policy be in place to ensure that adequate consultation be a part of future development. So is there a desire by the district? And if not, how many signatures might be would be reasonable to consider establishing a bylaw for equipment?
Sorry, through the mayor, council's direction during the discussion was for staff to bring back those options to them. Whether it be a bylaw or policy. So we'll do some research internally as to whether we can supersede the federal government. I have a hard time saying yes to that, but we'll certainly do some research into it and come back with options for council should they decide that we want to move in that direction. For that other part of that, there can always be a petition brought before council. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact number of signatures that are required for that right now, but I can get back to you on it. And petitions just come directly to council once they're delivered to the corporate officer. So I will get back to you on whether there's a specific number of signatures.
And it probably wouldn't be that many signatures. Like, I couldn't venture to guess. I know when I was doing one for Brad Biff, I only needed 25 signatures. So really, I don't know what ours would be, if there's a percentage, if there's, you know. I don't know that, but I know that also Councilor Aiken suggested that staff look at the communities that you brought forward. So, you know, we'll look into that.
Through the mayor, and I think we maybe just established, we said that's at the beginning. Charles Hamilton was the CEO for the SLRD, or sorry, the CSRD. He was a very, very close friend of mine, and he was the CEO there. So I think we said we were going to reach out to the CSRD anyway, have a conversation with them. So yeah, we'll bring that information back to us.
I just want to get too far into this, but quick question, just based on the map for the cell tower too, was council aware that the amount of people that are within the statutory 146 meter consultation limit is 0?
Yes, because I walked it.
Yeah. So that's just in terms of, you know, the amount of people that live there. I guess it touches 2 properties, if I'm not wrong. The proponent's property and the neighboring property, but in terms of amount of people, it's 0. So just a comment on federal requirements.
And just for comment, that is generally why they select those situations or like those plots of land, because there is little impact to the people around there, right? And most of the people live on that back road. So, and look out the other way. But yeah, I did walk it. Okay. No further questions or comments. Will somebody move that the May 20th, 2025 regular council meeting be adjourned? Councilor McNary, Councilor Aiken, all in favor? Very well. Okay, we'll take a 10-minute break and then we'll talk. Cheers.